Hello there again, everyone. Thank you ever so much for joining me again, because I realise that sometimes when you're doing a project that's ongoing day after day after day, it can get a little bit boring and monotonous. So I know that sometimes you get a little bit fed up and want a change of scenery. So thank you for coming back and joining me again. I just want to show you, hang on, I've got them marked. Instead of searching for it, Carol, come on, shape yourself, woman. Okay, so I wanted to show you that I have done my weaving now. So this was a piece that I'd done a while ago with some coffee dyed papers, so you can see the nice effect that that one creates. And then this is the one that I've put in my journal for now, which uses a variety of paper and fabrics and trims and threads, and then I cut out a dictionary explanation of what weaving is. So that's the page that I've actually got in my book. The other thing that I finished was the spirellis that I've done. Now I've covered over the quote that I've used because it used an awful lot of bad language, but I used it because the actual saying made me laugh because of personal reasons, but I have covered it over, so no one needs to worry that they're going to see anything bad. So so this was the image with the quote on that I used, and as I say, I've covered it over, and those are the spirellis that I used. So as you can see, I did a little bit of a green wash in the background, and then added the image, then added the spirellis, added buttons, leaves. I even went and added some stickles on there as well to make it into a nice composition, and the colours went really well with my my library on the other page. So I was quite chuffed with how that turned out, and I've got a few of them now, these now made up, so that I can use them on other items too. So to today's quote, today's prompt even. Oh, I coloured in my reverse crossword. Couldn't think of the word then. I coloured it in with the pink, and I didn't like it. It was the wrong shade of pink, so I went over it with green. So now I've got a mixture of green and pink in there too. So this is my 17th of February page. So I'm going to write the prompt out now, which is 17th of the 2nd, 21. Draw my little screw heads. And the prompt is, it's all white. Okay, so it's all white. So I'll let you just have a little peruse on that one. Have a little think about it while I just ink up the edges. And what does that conjure up for you? It's all white. I'm just going to stick this into the back of my book as well. And then that's that job done. Ooh. Don't want to do that. It's all white. Okay. So, my thoughts on it's all white. Now, you might think that it's quite a limited kind of prompt in terms of what you can do on the page. But actually, if you start to think about it and think about all the different things that you've got that you utilise in your craft room that is white, all right? Now, you could choose flowers. So you could choose maybe your favourite flowers. So you could use things like daisies. I'm just reaching down. for my photo album. So I've got a photo album that I keep cut up images in, but I thought, you know, if you wanted to do snowdrops or daisies, items like this, all your favourite white flowers, lilies, so I thought that that could be a good starting point. So I think that I might use this image here. Now, I don't think, sorry, my creaky chair, I don't think that it's just a case of collating a whole load of white things and then just plonking them on the page. I think you need to think this one through a little bit about what you could actually do to make it attractive. So I think that I might start off with the white flower as the basis of my starting point, I suppose. Now, you've got things like paper doilies, they're white. You've got things like crochet doilies. You've got cheesecloth. You've got the backs of paper napkins. So with the cheesecloth and the paper napkins, you could actually create a little bit of a background and then add some of the other items on top of it. So you could have things like part of a paper doily sort of just showing through, just hints of it. You've then got things like your buttons. So you could sort through all your white buttons and add some of those to it as well. So already we're starting to get a lot of texture on the page. So it's not just a case of sticking loads of white things in there. There's an idea kind of forming with everything to do with the colour white. So then I got to thinking that the other items I could then use would be things like my stamps and my embossing powders. So I've got a seafoam white here, I've got a bridal one which is a little bit glittery, so I could actually do some stamping on here and then utilise some of these embossing powders on top of it to again create that little bit of texture. You could use your ultra thick embossing powder. You could use stenciled embossing paste so that you could again create some texture with that. So this could actually end up being quite a textural piece if you just stop and think it through. There's lace, you could add some white lace to it. Now the other thing is, if you haven't got anything that's white, what I would be inclined to do is get a spare sheet of paper or card, probably card might be best, and then adhere all sorts of different textures to it. Again, not just randomly, just think it through a little and then think about what you're going to use for your centerpiece, and you can add that on top afterwards. But what you could then do is you can use the likes of gesso paint or an acrylic paint, and you can paint everything that's on that sheet of card so it looks as though it's completely white. All right, so you could have black buttons on there and, you know, all sorts of different colours on there, but then you go and paint over it all so that you've then got everything is all white. All right, so excuse me. So this is about not just the colour. It's about the textures that you can create, and it's about creating something that visually looks really effective. So I hope that that's given you a few ideas on things that you could utilise within your journal, you know. And as I say, don't just plonk a load of things on there that are white. Well, that's not white, we don't want that one in there, Carol. You know, and think about all the textures and things that you can create with it. So I'm going to hand over to you. It's now your turn to go off, go and have a little bit of a think about it, have a little bit of a play, think about that visual point, So as I say, I'm going to use these flowers as my visual point, and then I'm going to have a load of textures behind it to bring it all together. Have fun, enjoy your little selves, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye.